What? Don't judge me. If I want to summon a toad, I will. Or at least, I'll try again. Hello Vix! Many of the black boys and men that I know grew up obsessed with anime, with it being one of their main avenues of entertainment. And I want to know why. Why are so many black men otaku obsessed with anime and Japanese culture? Now, I don't want to leave women or NBs out of this conversation because they too can be anime nerds, no likes and hues. But I'm especially interested in how such a large subset of black men have become so interested in identifying with the characters of predominantly shonen, fighting, and sports anime. Also, I'm a black man and I can only speak on experiencing anime as one. However, black otaku of all genders deserve representation. So I'll insert some of my friends' experiences with anime here before I begin my commentary.
When I was younger and I would watch Sailor Moon, Sailor Pluto was like my first kind of like, oh, she could be a black woman. She is like probably just, a dark-skinned Japanese woman, but I remember thinking, here's this tall, mysterious, powerful brown person. I really love that, and I always was a big Sailor Moon fan, especially once I realized that Usagi was Japanese and therefore not white. I was able to see like this very powerful group of like non-white women like really kick ass, and that meant a lot to me. And I think as I've watched more anime and anime has gotten more global, there have been creators who have included like black characters in their work. Like for example, Tairi Kubo, who did Bleach, Yurichi, Tenzin, like those are black characters and they were good black characters. Well, Yurichi was. So that is also like a really great thing to see.
So have you ever felt represented by anime? And it's anime, not anime, or anime, or animes. The answer to that question is complicated, but it's like yes and no. Does anime hold emotional significance for me? And like, of course it does. Akira does, especially. All like fictional media, not all, but fictional media that I like interact with holds significance for me, absolutely. Like, I think probably for anime, one of the biggest influences it probably had on me, which is like also an emotional significance, is karate. I started when I was like 9, and I think that's probably in large part due to watching anime when I was a kid. Karate served as a means for me to try and reconnect to like my Japanese heritage, my Japanese culture.
Now, in order for us to understand the slightly complex relationship between black people and anime, we need to learn a bit more about the history of anime in the United States. Historically, black creators have gained inspiration from Asian art. For example, Yellow Magic Orchestra was a Japanese synth pop group that influenced an array of black artists, from Afrika Bambaataa, who once joked that the group invented hip-hop, to Mariah Carey, who sampled YMO's Firecracker on her controversial hit, Loverboy. Controversial, because her ex-husband Tommy Mottola allegedly went behind her back and colluded with Jennifer Lopez to steal the Headlam's idea. This resulted in Carey having to sample Will Smith's Candy for the song instead, not releasing the original version she actually had in mind until 2020. It tastes like candy, yeah. I think I'm singing the Jacquees version actually, hold on, pause. It tastes like candy. Y'all sleep on Will Smith, but he can rap. I like the Firecracker version better though. Also, the Shaw Brothers Studio, a studio responsible for many of the highly stylized kung fu movies black people enjoyed in theaters during the 70s and 80s, had a major influence on the Wu-Tang Clan and was instrumental to the ensemble's visual, sonic, and creative direction, according to electronic music artist and writer Kenneth Takanami Herman. Now, you might be asking why I'm bringing up the Chinese Shaw Brothers whilst talking about anime, an art form. No, they are not cartoons. No, they are not cartoons. That is distinctly Japanese. I'm doing so because a lot of the cultural traffic to China was diverted into other Asian countries such as Japan. Because, to this day, y'all refuse to learn how to distinguish between Asian ethnicities. At this point, it's a choice, but that's not my point to make. Also, let me not get too gung-ho about pointing the finger because I just figured out that Hong Kong is in fact not a country. Don't drag me. Yedoye Travis of the Beyond the Bot channel here on YouTube raises the point that all of this influence happened in a period where there wasn't much distinction made between China and the rest of Asia in casual conversation. And I wouldn't call that point far-fetched. Yedoye also calls anime the de facto successor of kung fu films aired in the US and blaxploitation films that heavily utilize kung fu imagery. A point that seems logical, considering the fact that some of y'all are too colorblind to differentiate Chinese culture from Japanese culture. But once again, that's not my tea. Now, although animes are not cartoons, Cartoon Network and its late-night offshoot Adult Swim, formerly known as Toonami to the real ones, has played major roles in the distribution of anime to a new generation of black kids such as myself. I mean, who could forget waking up on Saturday mornings before the rooster crowed to plop down in front of the big back TV to watch Pokemon and Beyblade as the sun came up? Or staying up late and sitting through Kill la Kill, One Piece, or whatever other irrelevant anime to watch Naruto at 2 a.m. in the morning. Y'all could fight me, cause I know y'all like to tussle.
Toonami brought anime to the hood. In my community where I was growing up, everybody in my school watched either Naruto or Dragon Ball Z or both. This planet's getting blown up. Like, that was just pure entertainment for people like of our age group. And it just kind of stuck with a lot of us. But this is misconception of like people who watched anime and like when they were younger got bullied for it or whatever, but I can't really relate to that. And maybe it was because I wasn't doing like hand signs in the hallway or wearing the Naruto headband to school.
Back in like middle school, I remember me and my friends, while we were, yes, sometimes Naruto ninja running down the hallways, we would make Rasengans like on the trampoline, like and like shoot them at each other. There are shows that are very near and dear to my heart that I really do love, and I'm thankful sometimes that they exist. I honestly think about that a lot, where I'm just like, wow, thank God Toradora exists. I'm glad I'm in the timeline where I got to experience that show, you know? At the end of the day, anime is a medium, so it's just stories. And there are just a lot of good stories that have been anime. And by watching a lot of anime, I lucked into being able to witness some really, really good stories.
What's beyond art? Well, it's Cowboy Bebop. I think that I love it because of its themes, of its messages, the art, the creative direction, the soundtrack, the everything about it. You don't see stuff like Cowboy Bebop being made like that for real. Jesus, I don't like. It's beyond art.
Does anime hold emotional significance for you? 100%. Some of my earliest memories of life are sitting down with my older brother and watching Pokemon on VHS over and over and over and over and over again. That was probably one of the first things that we bonded over. But anime is definitely what really brought us together. And I was able to do that with my little brother as well, too. And it's also just allowed me to, meet a lot of people and get to know a lot more people better, just because of these stories and the type of stories that they tell and how it can impact how I live and stuff like that. There have been a lot of shows that I've watched and really like came away a different person from them,
It's not difficult to imagine why anime would take such a strong emotional hold on young black boys, when we could get caught up in Goku's never-ending pursuit of power, Ushio's never-ending pursuit of power, Naruto's pursuit of becoming Hokage through a never-ending pursuit of power. Something seems off here. I'm not going to say that black men only watch anime to fantasize about having power that they will never have. That physically pained me to say. Seeing as how I watch a variety of anime from different genres such as romance, slice of life, and psychological, and I'm sure that other black men do too. However, when it comes to anime that are most mainstream in our sub-community, aka the ones that I would be more likely to be able to discuss with other black men, they're always based on some sort of fantasy in which the male main character is given some sort of power far greater than those around him, whether that be magical or otherwise. And they use it to dominate some other powerful force. This could happen instantaneously like it does in One Punch Man, or take an intense, multi-season training montage like it did in Dragon Ball Z and Katekyo Hitman Reborn, an anime that no one other than me has watched, apparently. I don't want to say that this magical power isn't bestowed upon female main characters because that would be a lie. There's Madoka Magica, Little Witch Academia, Kill la Kill, even though the anime is bad, fight me. However, they never, ever garner as much hype as the male-centered shonen anime. I mean, look at Cardcaptor Sakura. Western animation studio Nirvana Enterprises changed the gender of the main character and replaced Sakura, a girl, with a boy. Because, and I quote, they were hoping to appeal to young boys and assumed boys couldn't relate to Sakura. They changed an anime's whole protagonist and name simply because they did not care about any other anime fans other than male ones. Interesting. Not to mention, while they tanked Cardcaptor's success in North America, Cardcaptor Sakura prospered in Latin America due to their lack of censorship and unnecessary misogynistic changes. I can't help but wonder if anime has in some way contributed to misogyny and misogynoir, other than marginalizing women into nothing more than anime titties on like several occasions. As stated by YouTuber Ola Sunvia, fetishization is defined as intricate ways in which minority subjects are objectified based solely on stereotypes and in ways that deny people their humanity. Now, if y'all do that to women in anime just because they're women, what stops y'all from either consciously or subconsciously applying that logic in real life? Quickly. Boo, he's socially critiquing anime, just watch it. It is literally so funny how y'all only bring up that point when someone points out the blatant misogyny showcased in so many anime. Hilarious. Comical. I'm crying from laughter. It's giving Black Red Pill YouTuber. Please watch anime like Michiko and Hachin, directed by Yamamoto Sayo, an anime directed by a woman that centers experiences and power of women. They're entertaining and important too. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, some of y'all might find some empathy for the struggles that women face. Anyways, this video is not about exploring misogyny. Why is the Negroes anime weebs? That's why we're here! As I mentioned previously, Black American artists have proliferously made nods to Asian and more specifically Japanese culture for decades. But so have other men from other races. So why specifically has anime become so important to Black men? And here's a shout out to the patrons because they so great and they found all the things on this channel, so you should become a patron. Shout out to Sam L. Pure Cats. If you would like to become a patron, we currently have 2 tiers available on the Patreon page. The $3 tier, which gives you access to my first ever YouTube video and all of the channel updates, along with the $7 tier that gives you access to the Things I Ain't Want Y'all to See series, a series of creative outtakes and bloopers in which I share things that I ain't want y'all to see in the main video. I am currently trying to make being a creator into my full-time job, so if you would like to contribute to that goal, then please feel free to become a patron today. Now, let's get back to the vid. Samurai Champloo was an anime created by Shinichiro Watanabe. The anime expertly blended hip-hop styles with top-tier animation that made little black tween boys like me want to sword fight in their room and say that the first samurai was a black man named Yasuke. I don't want to hear nothing about the phrase sword fight in these comments. No, I don't. It connected deeply with black men and made many of us feel seen in a way that even American media didn't at the time. I mean, you can only watch The Fresh Prince so many times before you realize it ain't the 90s no more. Watanabe's Cowboy Bebop did the same, imbuing jazz into its backbone. Shinichiro Watanabe's nods to black culture were on purpose, by the way. In an interview, he stated that he came up with the character of Mugen while listening to hip-hop, even thinking that he might be a rapper samurai. This just highlights how hip-hop has historically acted as a metaphorical diplomat that has connected Japanese and Black culture. Yo, and while we're on the topic of Black men feeling more seen in Japanese media than broader American media, let's talk about Afro Samurai. The first anime series out of Japan with a Black male character created by Takashi Okazaki, a man who watched Soul Train reruns and listened to hip-hop as well. This is another anime 12-year-old Victory stayed up way too late to watch. Let's also talk about the fact that there have been real Black men like Arthur Issam, the CEO of Darch Taijo, that have become anime protagonists having to fight to create things for themselves off of sheer motivation and work ethic. Darch Taijo is a Black-owned 2D animation company based out of Tokyo, Japan that has worked on a litany of anime, from The Seven Deadly Sins to Gintama and Record of Grancrest War. In Issam's words, "My story is different from other otaku. I was more into the art. I chose anime that looked nice." Ghost in the Shell, a Japanese cyberpunk anime, inspired a Black man to emigrate from California to Japan in order to go create an anime studio with his twin brother Darnell and his friend Henry Thurlow. So it was really two Black men. And they aren't the only ones. There are a growing number of Black people involved in anime production, both creating their own animation businesses and participating in existing projects. There are absolutely parallels to be drawn between the stories of shonen characters like Naruto and Black American men, but I'm gonna keep this more personal and let my dude Black Anime explain that in the iCards. It's in the chapter labeled Anime Tropes and Black People. Anime like Naruto helped me cry when I needed to, and anime like My Hero Academia motivated me when I was down. These anime made me feel like I could embody my full self without needing to conform to certain patriarchal expectations, and had the same effect on many other Black masks.
Real quick, I just want to ask you, what does anime mean to you?
Being yourself, bro, it's just another way of, expressing a...
With the way I just presented anime as a bastion of hope that promoted Black self-acceptance, I would understand if you were surprised to see that I've named this part of the video Racism in Anime. However, with the immense globalization of something like anime, nuance is necessary when handling this topic. So yes, there have been many Black people, such as myself, that have drawn immense joy, no sixth gate, and inspiration from anime. There have also been times where anime has relied on some of the same racist tropes that white supremacists rely on here in America. One burning example of this is the character Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. Come on, bro, you knew I was gonna bring this up. Minstrel don't get no more minstrel than this. And for those unfamiliar, minstrel shows were yet another way for white people to dehumanize Black people and turn their pain and suffering into entertainment. See lynchings and Black baby kicking contests. And this is not the only time that Dragon Ball Z has utilized stereotypically degrading images of Black people. Look at Officer Black, Kill la Kill, and this Black caveman character that has conveniently been scrubbed from the internet. It's giving Flintstones. No, but seriously, why is this clip only available in this As Told by Yodoya episode? There have been many other examples of poor Black representation in anime throughout its history, and anime fans have been asking for better. Though there are many excuses for this casual bigotry, such as Japan being a country so homogenous that they cannot make an accurate depiction of a Black person. Okay. Or the Japanese animators have ignorantly utilized racist depictions of Black people found in Western minstrelsy because they were once popular, but they don't hold much weight. Either way, these depictions have made the experience of the Black anime fan uncomfortable at times, which is something that other anime fans have not had to experience because of their race. Luckily, due to instances of oppression like this, Black people have continuously created their own spaces in which they felt safe enough to enjoy the things that they love without pretense. Shout out Bluricon! Now that we're nearing the end of this video, I feel as though some might ask why I made it. 1, to answer the guiding question, of course. 2, because I wanted to when this is my channel last time I checked. And 3, because I think it's important to acknowledge all of the avenues and coping mechanisms that help Black people continue to move forward in an anti-Black world. Who knows? Another Black person that has never seriously engaged with anime as an avenue of self-expression or self-liberation might come across this and find their new reason to keep going. And what's more relevant than that? I think that'll be all for today. I have victoriously finished another video. Until the next time, bye! Also, Piccolo's Black.